I was just watching this video, and I think I just got this from eating banana syrup I made. I'll get with the lizards later on to have a discussion with them. Uh, and they're talking about, for instead of abortion, adoption. Well, see, and they think that's going to stop people from having kids. That's going to open them up to thinking, well, we're not killing them now. We're giving them homes, and that'll create more promiscuous activity. And there'll be prostitutes throwing babies through some church will leave a cornhole, one of those games where you throw bean bags through a hole. They'll leave one of those out on the steps of the church, and there'll be babies being tossed into that. The prostitutes and promiscuous women be shooting babies through that cornhole at churches. They're going to be so that'll inflate the population. Another thing, off that subject, off abortion, I'm totally against. And yeah, I'm for adoption, but it's not gonna stop all these promiscuous women and prostitutes and such from having them. And I think that's the 90% of the abortions come from, is stuff like that. It's not the rape and incest, which is like what 0.0001% of the population that rape and incest have. So so the other thing I was thinking, oh man, what was the other thing? What the? Oh, crime. Pay if you have a kid that commits a crime, that you have to pay as a parent. That kid's living under your roof. You have to pay for their incarceration. While they're incarcerated. So instead of the taxpayers paying, why should we pay for your kid's crimes? And another thing, if a parent adopts a kid and the kid commits a crime, the adopted parents have to pay, and they have to find the biological parents and make them pay as well. Because if they're just both criminals that got rid of a kid, they had kid and they're just making money off the system, going through adoption, because adoption agencies are going to give them money for it. And that's another thing. They shouldn't give, I don't know if I said that, but they shouldn't give incentives to people having kids. They shouldn't give them tax breaks to people who have kids. You're burdening society. You're burdening the planet. You need more food. You need more space. They're going to create pollution. They're going to create, going to have problems in society. They're going to have problems. We've got to find jobs. We've got to make jobs for them. It's a burden to society bringing kids onto this planet. So you shouldn't get a tax break for having them. That's just for more. The reason government does that is because they want more votes. But they're not thinking about all the problems that the rising population is creating. Now, this isn't, you can claim it's global warming, you can claim it's Putin, you can claim it's Biden, but it's actually the population is increasing. And they got water systems that they're trying to grow crops, and it's dwindling the amount of water going in rivers downstream. I guess I was seeing some video the other day on the Euphrates River is drying up, and they're trying to blame it on some God stuff, some prophecy or this. They didn't, but in the video they're telling about how there's dams that they had in the 80s or 70s or whenever it was, that they started building dams, for flooding places for irrigation and for water, for giving people water and all that. And it's drying up. All these people are using all the way down, and all different whatever they live in there. I don't know, states or provinces over in Iraq, and they and then they built these dams to supply people with food and irrigation. And so at the end of the Euphrates, they're running out of water, and it's causing in fact, even apparently they're using so much water and they was only allowed a percentage of each dam could only take so much water out. So anyway, uh, I was thinking instead of having a I don't know, what is it, perpendicular dams, where the rivers going down, and you build a dam across, and that just blocks everything off, and then you divert whatever water the dam fills up, and then the water, whatever amount of water. Well, they shouldn't have perpendicular dams. There's some kind of, I don't know if they built them, but they're parallel dams where you build maybe a dam out and it goes up the river a certain ways, but you don't get it cut off the river. See, the river still flows, and you don't fill up your reservoir as quickly in the dam, but you still get it, and it's going down river. It's going to be longer. You don't get to just cut off the river. I was thinking, that would keep the water flowing, and all these fish could still go upstream, and they'd have these big reservoirs that they could go into as they go upstream, instead of having to have people out there pulling like salmon out of a river and feeding them into a freaking, the next step up, like in locks, fish locks, and fish locks. All right. So I think that's all I'm saying now. Talking about people paying for their own kids' criminal incarceration. Their kids incarcerated, but parents just walk away. Their kids kill somebody, or their kids are committing crime. The parents just, I didn't know my child. Well, now you're paying for it, so you're going to pay more attention, won't you? If you pay for your kids' incarceration, you're going to pay attention to what your kid's doing. You won't be able to say, well, I didn't know he was doing anything. He just goes to his room, and when he comes home, and I don't know what he's doing. Okay, later.